This is a video chart presentation of Canadian Quantum Energy brought to you by allpennystocks.com with technical analysis by Andy from Understanding Pinch Plays. Canadian Quantum trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker CQM. So looking at a 9-month chart, you can see a little bit of a sporadic trading history, some low volume days, some no volume days. Been on a pretty good slide right now, but today it gapped up and closed with a bullish harami pattern. So we're going to take a look at these lower indicators and see if they're giving us any hints of a possible reversal. You can see the MACD was in a pretty good downtrend, but right around through here it changed directions. And now we're starting to get a slight uptrend. The histogram is riding on top of zero. That tells you that the fast line is leading the signal line. And while it may be slight, the uptrend is happening. While the downtrend is happening, that's still a little bit of positive divergence. This is one of those cases where the PPO is not mimicking the MACD. Right now it's set itself up into a pretty good pincher situation. We've got the ADX riding up awful high. It's still in an uptrend, so we're going to look for it to try and flatten out. But it's reaching this 50 barrier, which is pretty high. And the PPO is getting relatively low, down around negative 15. With the negative and positive DIs positioned the way that they are, there's a good chance this can make some kind of bounce or reversal. We can see with this move, we have the MFIs all coming out of drastically oversold territory, starting to make their move all together up towards 20. The first sign of some true buying pressure coming into the stock. It's also reflected by the accumulation distribution and the shake and money flow, which all made sharp turns. This is very early into a possible reversal or possible bounce. In a little bit longer term, we're going to be looking for this accumulation distribution and try and get back up to these levels. It's down low. It was in a pretty good sideways channel throughout that period. So we're going to look for that to try and push back up into that area. Obviously, by the shake and money flow, selling pressure has been dominant. Very little time has been spent above zero, where buying pressure has been stronger than selling pressure. We're down very low right here, though, so we're going to look at this and possibly wonder if it's going to get some kind of bounce. The CCI is just now breaking out at negative 100. That's a positive sign. A lot of bottom feeders look at that, and they'll take that as a buy point. It's a hold until it wants to break back down below negative 100. So when you're fishing for a true bottom like this is a pretty good indication that a move may be coming. Bull stow, we talk about this a lot of different times. It can trend down here in oversold territories for a very long time. On the opposite ends of things, if it does make a strong move, stocks that are trading very strong will spend a lot of time up here in overbought territory, and certainly over 50. That's where you want to see it. That's a bull chart territory. Right now it's still down very low. It's at exaggerated levels at this point. So we're getting the slightest hint right here of a possible uptrend beginning. As I stated, very early in the possible move. So we're going to look at this and see if we're going to get a signal line cross and if this is going to trend back towards 20. The Trix actually has a pretty interesting look to it, being that the signal line is in such close proximity here. But you want to see if this is going to make a long-term reversal, we're going to want to see this bullish cross and start to trend back towards zero. Right now they're just kind of riding side by side, but they're not in a terrible position. A lot of times when stocks are in a very strong downtrend, you'll see a massive separation between the two. So right here it looks like it's trying to flatten out a little bit and trying to make a turn. Negative 2 is very far from zero. We want to keep an eye on this from a long-term perspective and see if it's going to roll and curl and start to make an uptrend. The RSIs right now are just starting to break through 30, coming out of oversold territory. All three coming together, which is what I like to see. And this 14 and 21, you can kind of see through their shadows. They actually kind of flattened out a little bit, and they're starting to turn and curl and move with the 7. This is a pretty good indication as well that a move may be happening. These candles are a little bit of a tough read. Again, you're looking for just a true bottom. That's why I brought this chart up. But sometimes you just go bottom fishing. You can see through here, it started to form a base. It didn't hold. It fell through it. It dipped a little bit lower. All the way down, now it's closing at 35, 113,000 shares traded, which is actually a little bit of an increase. So some buying pressure came in today, and that's what made it pop up on a scan. Again, these two candles combined are called a bullish harami. That pattern is considered a relatively low reliability pattern, but it's still a reversal pattern. So what we're going to look for is another green candle to come the next day and try and confirm the reversal. If that happens, you see this parabolic SAR, which has been trending down with it the whole time, has not been touched. If it makes any kind of a move, that parabolic SAR will flip to the bottom side, and that'll give you a stop and reversal point and strengthen the idea of a support level being through there. So I would look at 33.5 cents as a bottom support. It's not very strong at this point because it's only been one day of touching it, but history shows that if it breaks that bottom support that's tried to establish, it's going to try and go significantly lower. So let's try and look for that area to hold, and then right in front of it, it's going to see a little bit of resistance right here, but that's not that great. If this tries to turn and make a move, I don't think it's going to see any real resistance until up here around 40 cents. Not only is there a little bit of price per share resistance at that point, But the 20-day moving average is also coming down. It's going to intersect that 40 area and increase the level of resistance. So when looking at this chart, I want to see that hold, and I want to see a little bit more volume come in, and I want to see some buying pressure to confirm that bullish harami, and I want to see it go up here and challenge us and see how it reacts at that point. It's a relatively safe play in the sense that if that's your support level, and if that falls, you bail, you wait on it, you let the indicators try and reset, you just kind of walk away from it a little bit. It's only at 35, so your losses are very minimal. It's only about a 5% loss. The upside is much greater because resistance is all the way up here at 40 cents, so you're talking about a 15% gain if it makes a move that direction. After that, more resistance will come in here right around this 45 level, but of course at that point, gains are pretty significant. And it's moved above the 20-day moving average. The parabolic SAR has flipped. It'll be trending back up this direction, which will give you a new stop-loss point. And on top of that, you'll be looking for this 40 level to hold as a new support. So these lower volume plays can be a little tricky, but they also can produce some very significant gains if they decide to make a move off that bottom. So I think the Canadian Quantum Energy Corp chart is one to keep an eye on. It has some definite possibilities. Look for support to hold. Look for a little bit more volume to come into it. And look for these resistance levels to be tested, and if it wants to dip back down, look for it to hold them as support. As always, this annotated video chart is merely my interpretation. I'm not a financial consultant and strongly encourage you to do your own proper due diligence. Consult a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Please visit the allpennystocks.com website to view the full disclaimer disclosure and do not base any investment decisions upon any material found on the website and/or this video chart. No person employed by All Penny Stocks is a registered investment advisor or licensed broker-dealer. Thank you for watching and trade smart.